Hello and welcome firstly to NDTV Profit. I'm Vishwanath Nair and with me is Harsh Saita. You're watching The Big Story and today's focus is Kotak Mahindra Bank. Now, of course, over the last week or 10 days, you've seen a lot happen on the counter. You've seen Kotak Mahindra Bank face restrictions from the Reserve Bank of India. You've seen Kotak Mahindra Bank come up with a very big resignation with senior management member going out of the bank, and that too with immediate effect. And then you've seen the results. So two bad and then one good. That's the kind of ratio that we're talking about. Firstly, on the 24th of April, you saw the Reserve Bank of India come out with a set of restrictions, essentially saying that the bank cannot issue fresh credit cards. It also cannot onboard any customers through digital means, that is through the mobile banking or their website. They can't onboard fresh customers. What the bank is going to also have to answer for is KVS Manian's exit. KVS Manian, the joint managing director at Kotak Mahindra Bank, announced his resignation on the 30th of April, just 6 days after the Reserve Bank of India came out with its restrictions. And that resignation was accepted with immediate effect by the bank's CEO, Ashok Vaswani. And this was done after a 30-minute long board meeting. Of course, a lot has happened since then, but before we get deeper into the issues that are facing Kotak Mahindra Bank, I want to take you through what the numbers are going to look like. And I'll bring you in here, Harsh, to break down what Q4 look like for Kotak Mahindra Bank. I believe numbers are pretty stellar.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong quarter, and it's, Vishy, as you well know, it's dominated by several one-offs. You had around 140 odd crore in terms of interest income from income tax refund, which has come in, which has obviously expanded margins by 6 basis points or thereabouts. Not only the 140 crore income tax refund, but in general, margins went up by 6 basis points. And of course, some of these one-offs has added to that margin number and aided that margin number. The core margins actually declined 5% sequentially, but that's not much of a concern because at 5.3%, Kotak, within the largest 5 private sector banks, has the best margins by a mile, not just by an inch. So therefore, not much of a concern with regard to that margin number, even though it's declined just about 5 basis points. It's far lower than what the industry and the analysts were expecting. So that's the first big positive. The second big positive is on the deposit side. 10% sequential in terms of deposits is extremely strong, given that now it's well sized in terms of a bank itself, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and with the kind of pressure and reputational problems that are happening at it, it's quite a strong number overall in terms of the deposit growth as well. We have Pragati standing by to take us through some of the key ones, because some very, very interesting commentary coming through on a variety of topics, Pragati.
Thanks, Harsh. And hi, Vishy. Thanks for having me. I'm going to divide this segment into 2 parts for our viewers. One, the management's commentary on the RBI action, and the other would be on Manian's exit. First, I will take up the management commentary in the press conference on RBI action. They said that the RBI order has had more of an impact on the reputation than the financials. In fact, the CEO specifically said that he was more worried about the reputational impact than the financial impact. While there's no impact on the existing customer base, the impact will be felt on the credit card and the 811 business. But they very categorically mentioned their coming back or roaring back plan as well. They said that they were seeking guidance from the regulators on building systems and protecting the customers. Second, they are also investing in capacity building, and for that they are spending more on tech also on a year-on-year basis. Roughly, Kotak spends on techs are about 10% of the OPEX at present, but this might increase going ahead. Interesting bit here was that when reporters questioned the management about Jai Kotak's future at 811, because that is a product that might be affected with RBI's action, the management said that Jai Kotak will continue as the co-head of 811. The second part would be management's comment on the exit of KVS Manian, as you have already mentioned in the show. A significant exit at a time when already Kotak Mahindra Bank was grappling with RBI RBI's action. In fact, Ashok Vaswani said that Manian wanted to pursue other opportunities in the financial services sector, and that's what made the timing of things a little uncomfortable and a little difficult. Both the things were said. In fact, Mr. Vaswani, which really stood out for us, his comment was, he said that to the best of my knowledge, that is to the best of his knowledge, KVS Manian does not have any offer in hand at present. While they continue to remain friends and they wish him the best, but these comments really stood out for us. So for the benefit of our viewers, because there were some other things also said, we will now show them what exactly happened at the press conference and what all the management said.
The management team and I are exceedingly clear that our first priority, our first and top priority is to get Kotak back to business as usual. And while we are doing this, and in this period, while we are building everything that it takes to get Kotak back to business as usual, getting ready to come back roaring when we get the permission to do so from our regulators. There is absolutely no impact to an existing customer across any channel, any product that we have. So our existing customer base, absolutely no impact. We've been seeking guidance from our regulators on building resilience of our technology systems and on enhancing the experience of our customers. Personally, me and we as a company are totally committed towards building world-class technology infrastructure and giving customers the best-in-class customer experience. To meet the standards expected by our customers and guided by our regulators, we've been on a continuous upgradation journey for the past 2-3 years. We've made a number of senior hires, and we've talked about this in the past, significantly augmented the internal tech team and invested in capacity building towards risk and resilience. And if we're able to do that, and if we're able to fix the technology and get it to the expectations of the RBI, I think we'll come out stronger on both fronts. If we're able to do all of this, frankly, I'm more worried about the reputational impact than I am about the financial impact. The financial impact in the scheme of things will be relatively small.
You've had a senior management member exit just this week. I wanted to understand what went behind the whole process, because you had elevated him only about 2 months ago, and then suddenly the exit within a 30-minute board meeting and with immediate effect. It seems a bit fast.
As far as Manian is concerned, he was an amazing and wonderful colleague. He has contributed enormously to the building of this institution for the last 29 years as a part of the team. But as you may have read in his letter, he wished to pursue other opportunities in the financial services sector. So I guess, we only wish him well.
Thank you.
Mr. Manian's exit, because you have signed off on his resignation letter with immediate effect, although he was ready to serve.
So, look, like I said, I completely agree with Shanti. I got to know Manian over the last couple of 4 months, obviously worked very closely with him. He's a very bright guy, and, honestly, I completely echo what Shanti said. He's been with Kotak a long period of time. He's built a fantastic business, part of that team. Manian had aspirations, right? Like you have, like I have, and wanted to pursue other opportunities. Now, he wanted to do that in the financial services sector, which obviously make it, a little more difficult, right? From just a timing perspective. So he very rightfully said, I want to pursue these opportunities. I want to be upfront with you. And we said, that's fine. Sincerely wish you all the best. And we remain friends. I mean, because he's joining, because he wants to do something in financial services, then it becomes a little uncomfortable.
Does the bank have a gardening period or something like that before taking up another offer? This is just out of curiosity.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Gardening months or something like that before someone takes another opportunity in the FS sector?
So, frankly, I don't even know, because he doesn't Manian, at least to the best of my knowledge, doesn't have something in his hand right now.
Okay.
Right? To the best of my knowledge. Obviously, you'll have to ask Manian that question. But I'm not aware of anything he had. And look, he's somebody who's been with the company a long period of time. He's a friend, right? And so we really wish him the best. जो हुआ है सो हुआ है, उसको तो हम करेक्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. Okay, that is water under the bridge. अभी खाली हम कर सकते हैं कि देखो, अब इस बार बिल्कुल फर्म इरादे से, कंप्लीट फर्म इरादे से कि कस्टमर के लिए हम ठीक कर देंगे.
Right. So, "Jo hua hai, so hua hai" is a comment that came out of the press conference. That was a light-hearted moment there from Ashok Vaswani. We've discussed what the issues were and potentially what things are going to look like for the next few months at Kotak. They still have to hire that external auditor who will then review what the bank has done and then recommend something to the regulator, and then the regulator has to take that call. None of this is going to be a 1 month, 2 month process, likely taking a little longer than that. But Harsha, these problems aside, there is something to be talked about as far as Kotak Mahindra Bank as a stock is concerned, and where we stand in terms of the entire banking pack. I wanted to get an idea from you. What exactly is the stock telling you at this point in time in terms of the valuation of the bank vis-a-vis the rest of the sector?
Well, first off, Vishy, very crucial to understand that over the last 5 years, what the Nifty Bank has done. It's up roughly 70% in the last 5 years. But Kotak Bank, in comparison, is up just 10%. So that's the kind of return it's given in terms of investor returns. So very poor in terms of investor returns versus the Nifty Bank and versus some of its other peers as well. HDFC Bank, for example, has given 31% returns. Axis has given 53%, and ICICI has given a whopping 185%. So it's been a multi-bagger over the 5-year period. Now, of course, ICICI Bank has been through its upward journey in terms of both asset quality, stability in leadership, as well as with regard to its overall numbers and growth path. But where Kotak has really stumbled is two key pieces. It starts off with the Citibank retail business acquisition, which did not go in Kotak's favor. It went in Axis Bank's favor. That's where probably the stock made its top, 2,000 rupees plus. Thereafter, the stock has cooled off and seen some pressure with regard to leadership, with Uday Kotak leaving the bank, and of course Ajay Vaswani taking over. And those leadership concerns, at least below Ajay Vaswani, seems to continue given the KVS Manian exit that we've seen now. Outside of that, now it's the RBI embargo and IT issues. So the price to book valuation for Kotak, Vishy, has come down from roughly 4 times plus price to book to now just about 2.2 times forward. So the 1-year forward price to book for Kotak is now at 2.2 times, which is a multi-decade low for Kotak Bank. Is there a possibility that it's a buying opportunity? Well, JP Morgan certainly believes so. 34% upside is what they've ascribed. And an outperform rating. They've upgraded their rating as well. This comes just about today morning.
Interesting bit here, because while JP Morgan did say that, I think Nuvama had a slightly different view on the stock. So just tell us about that.
Yes, so Nuvama more cautious on the stock. They believe that there is this overhang, and they believe that profit before tax will around a 500 odd crore impact on PBT as well as reputation, and they are unable to ascertain what's the kind of impact on customers.
Correct.
Now, Kotak itself has grown customers extremely well. 25% almost growth on the customer number point, and what they suggested on the analyst call was a majority of those customers are acquired through the 811 product, which is digital, of course. So what Nuvama seems to suggest is difficult to quantify a lot of these factors, and it's difficult even from a management perspective to quantify it. So honestly, they're giving that credit that a lot of those questions have remained unanswered, and therefore there is that uncertainty and that overhang which continues to remain on the Kotak stock. They've in fact reduced their target price to 1,530, which is a 1% downside, to pre-open today. So clearly, Nuvama not exactly the most bullish. So both sides of the story have to be cautious with a lot of other factors. But JP Morgan on the flip side, quite bullish given the relatively attractive valuations.
Right, Harsh. So that was the big question, of course, what exactly is up with Kotak Mahindra Bank and how the bank can come out of the problems that it currently faces and whether the stock, Kotak Mahindra Bank, is valued appropriately in the market or not. So those were the inputs that we brought in for you. Thank you so much for watching The Big Question. Do stay tuned to NDTV Profit.